Good evening, everyone, and welcome. I'm J.D. Huey, President General Manager of KUBE Television. You are most likely watching this from the comfort of your home, surrounded by your family, but imagine spending this Christmas season standing on a street corner, or sleeping in your car, or searching for your next meal. That is the reality for homeless in Houston, and homelessness here is not what you think it is. Joining me today from radio station KSBJ are President and CEO Joe Paulo and Director of Community Relations Suzanne Bose Honeycutt. Their station is working with the Star of Hope and with us here at KUBE57 to help the homeless. In fact, 2 KSBJ DJs slept out on the streets to experience homelessness and to actually walk in their shoes. Suzanne, you learned some surprising information about this.
JD, we really did. What we learned is that many of them are women, mothers with children. Think about that for a minute. A mother living out on the street with her babies. Well, we recently met a mother named Laura who lived that reality last Christmas. Here is her story.
It was hard because seeing them sleeping in the car.
Houston area mom Laura and her 4 children spent last Christmas season somewhere she never could have imagined, living in her car.
Because I didn't have anywhere to stay, I decided to sleep in the car with them.
Sleeping on the street, terrified for their lives, terrified a stranger would hurt her babies.
I couldn't sleep for long periods of time. It's like sleep for an hour and then wake up and check on the kids.
It happened after Hurricane Harvey destroyed Laura's Fresno home. Soon after, she lost her job, and her friends could no longer allow her to stay.
We have problems with our friends, and it was too many people, and for kids. So I have to move out.
1 year later, thanks to the help of Abigail's Place Women's Shelter, Laura and her 4 children have a safe, warm apartment and a Christmas tree to decorate together.
All the furniture that you see here, friends have given it to me. Even the tree, everything.
Laura is forever grateful for her new life and for the help she and her children received. She prays Houstonians will view the homeless with love and compassion.
If you see a woman, a man standing there, try to help them.
So JD, what Laura experienced is not that rare. There are mothers out there sleeping in their cars, staying with friends, with their children, and it's heartbreaking.
Joe, tell us about In Their Shoes. Your DJ spent 2 days out on the streets. What were you trying to accomplish with this?
Homelessness is like the pink elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about it because nobody really knows what to do. So what we wanted to accomplish with our listeners is a couple of things. Number one, have eyes of compassion. We're reminded of what Jesus said in Scripture when he said, when you've done it unto the least of these, you've done it unto me. You could say that maybe the homeless are the least of these. So the eyes of compassion. And then secondly, what do you do? So we wanted to equip and empower our listeners to know what to do and how they can help.
Joe, how did you keep the DJ safe?
Well, special thanks to Precinct 1 deputies. We had a couple of them go out on the street with our DJs. They were undercover as well. They wanted really the same experience so that they could learn what it was like. Plus, we had a Star of Hope videographer that was capturing everything on camera.
Simply amazing, Joe. Here's the documentary, In Their Shoes.
On the street. Rochelle and Carter and Scott. So what is going on, Carter?
I had an idea that I wanted to see if we could maybe make happen. What if I could essentially go homeless? I'm pretty sure. Okay, what? To be able to, for the rest of my life, tell people this is what happens out there. This is what people actually go through.
Carter from the KSBJ Morning Show says he's going to be homeless on the streets.
He says he wants to do.
I want to do that too.
You sure? Are you sure you want to do this? That's crazy.
In their shoes, right? That's what we're saying. In their shoes. Well, somebody needs to put on those shoes. Yeah. In Houston, under a bridge, maybe 3 days.
This is real.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
I want to know what it's like to be in their shoes.
So this is it. We're on our way to downtown Houston and starting it off, and we're actually going to start at the Greyhound Bus Station, which is what I've been told is kind of ground zero, where a lot of people are, and some good people, some bad people, but at the end of the day, people.
I would like to bring awareness to their story, their faces, some of the feelings that they feel that we may just dismiss because we're not feeling it. You know, we don't go through it, and I really want to be able to convey that to my audience and activate them to want to help. At first, we were thrown into what is called Ground Zero, Cush Corner. I've heard about Cush on the news. I have not seen it up close and personal. So when we first got there, right away, there was a fight that was about to break out into the parking lot.
Wow, you know, and even talking to the officers that were with us, you know, they said this is not an area to hang out for long. It was 30 people in the parking lot, half of which were under the influence of something. There was one guy that was just kind of, you know, hung over because he was so high. And, you know, we walked out. You can't show fear because we're supposed to blend. You know, you look at people that aren't even looking up, their head is in their hands because they're either passed out from that or just exhausted or emotional. I've never seen that. I mean, that was shocking. We ended up running into the Hope van. Kenneth and the Love and Action van. You know, we show up to that fast food restaurant. There's so many people out there, so many people that are high, and they're just handing out water, and everybody appreciates them. I mean, nobody's going to say no to water, whether they've made bad decisions, whether they were born into this, whether they're scamming, whether they're not. Everybody can appreciate water on a hot Houston day. At one point, the guy that was driving the van, I went over and spoke with him, and there was the other gentleman that was really high on drugs, just really hungover, drooling, and he was standing but just looking like he was about to fall. And I told the guy driving the van, like, that doesn't freak you out, that doesn't scare you? And he's like, he's high. You know, we're here to help these people too. We rode a bus for the first time today. That's when it kind of became, I think that's when it became real this morning, was, okay, we're gonna do this bus thing and we have the pass. And then we looked at each other and we said, has anybody ever ridden the bus before? No. We had no idea what we were doing. It was really interesting being on the bus. The bus drivers were not very nice sometimes. They were just, you know, they saw you with those bags and they were just like, ugh, one of you guys. So they really didn't want to answer questions. But when you got on that bus, you just wanted to stay there because the AC was good and it was nice and cool. And, you know, that was a little bit of normalcy too, just to be able to just relax. And we went to a bus stop actually, and we stood there for 20 minutes trying to figure out, will this get us where we need to go? And so we decided, well, let's just walk it. And then we run into this employee of the city picking up trash, and she's homeless. She has a job, but she can't afford what she needs to afford. And she sends us in the right direction of the bus. And she said, here's what you got to do. You got to go down here and make sure, you know, you go to this place and you get a meal here. Then you go back and you go to this place and you get a meal here. And she was so sweet, just to make sure that looking out for people that are in the same situation in that moment as her. And I thought that was incredible. A lot that we learned regarding the bus. And man, if money wasn't an issue for people that need to ride the bus, I think they'd be on it all the time. Because it was a pleasant to be on there in the air conditioned, you know, and this isn't even the hottest day that we experienced in Houston, Texas. But it was one of our favorite parts of the day, of being on the bus and not looking for the bus.
But again, right as soon as you get off that bus, it's back to ground zero, back to being looked at crazy, back to, okay, where are we going to go? Is it okay for us to stand here? Cops are going to come. You know, it was really interesting. Just all of a sudden, I wasn't supposed to stand anywhere. You know, I'm on a public sidewalk, and this guy was like, move out the way, there's somebody on a bike. Well, sir, riding a bike on the sidewalk is illegal. I actually have the right of way, but, you know, I have these bags, so I don't belong there. We went to Loaves and Fishes for lunch and got a very up-close look at what living homeless looks and smells like.
Yeah, quite a mixture of people. Some were high, right in front of us, as a matter of fact, and you don't really notice at first until they start to stumble around. And
we were in line with people that were out of their minds. I don't know if it was high or mental or what it was, but it was scary. There was a woman screaming. There was a gentleman in front of me who he could have fallen over. The smell of urine, just all kinds of things. There was another gentleman, I remember he had like a tumor on his face, and but a smile on his face as well. But just as dirty as he could possibly be.
We were welcomed by one individual named Gilbert that, you know, he knew we were new, and he welcomed us and said, you know, we're all part of the, I remember how he phrased it, part of the same cloth, or, you know, we're all the same people or whatever. And very nice, sent us in a couple different directions of, here's where you go for this, here's where you go for that. We jump in line back here, and he, you know, I asked him if he had to check in. He said, no, just get in line. And so it was definitely an honor to be a part of that. And I was always a little hesitant when we've done outreach stuff before of, should I look too cheery? You know, I don't want to seem showboaty or whatever. And when those people came out from Loaves and Fishes, and just seeing the compassion that they had, that made my day. And so knowing that as soon as I walked in, I got a handshake and I got smiles, and they were all, and it meant a lot. Those 30 minutes felt normal.
While we were eating, the guy that was serving us is a big fan of Carter and didn't even know that he was serving Carter.
So we were at lunch, and one individual actually shook my hand on the way in, and then he came over and he saw the hat that I am wearing, and he said, that's a heavy hat. Let me give you this. And he gave me a ball cap with kind of mesh on the back. And I think that's the whole reason he came over. Very nice. And then he handed us a chapstick with the KSBJ logo on it.
89.3 KSBJ chapstick. Said, look guys, sun's gonna come out today. Here's some chapstick. You're gonna need this. Hey, you see that right there? That station, you need to listen to that station. It's gonna lift your spirits. It's gonna make you feel good.
And I looked down and I just, you know, thought of the irony, obviously. And he said his name was Lang. And in that moment I realized, oh my gosh, this guy calls our show pretty often. I've talked to Lang multiple times, and I start looking closely because I'm like, well, he must know then. I still am under the impression he had no idea. And Scott was there from Star of Hope, and he was just taking pictures, and he happened to say, do you ever listen in the morning? And Lang goes, yeah, golly, she just berates him. He gets a beating from her, which is true. It's very true. And I looked up and I think he must know. I don't think he knew. And he was just there to take care of us. He said he was going to the Astros game, but he wanted to stop over, and this is a place that they volunteer often. And what a just incredible turn of events where our great listeners are able to take care of us without them even realizing it.
There was another guy, another helpful person, who the first guy that we talked to when we got in the line was like, all right, you can go over here, you can get help, you can eat here, you can also eat at this place. I look at his hand, he's wearing a 91.7 engine radio bracelet. And so I was just like, you know, that was my cry moment. That was my God is here.
In this moment, in this feeling, I'll never not appreciate a meal again. Seeing what we saw at lunch, where an individual saved spaghetti for later in a dirty container that he put in his bag. I've gone to Italian restaurants and brought my leftovers and run one errand afterwards and thought, oh, that's probably not any good anymore. And this guy's putting it in a bag for tonight or tomorrow.
To people that serve the homeless, you guys are angels. It was just like, wow. The people who were supposed to be down and out and mean were the nicest ones, and the ones who have it all together. You think you're winning the game of life, but you may need to reevaluate.
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and I anticipate that I probably will not get a lot of sleep tonight. Houston, I believe, is the 4th largest city in the nation, and there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of violence, and as a police officer, that's what we address, and that's what we are here for, is public safety. So that's my role primarily, is to make sure the troops are safe. And like last night, we had a lot of homeless people that were around the camp. One of them fell in the bayou last night, about 3 o'clock in the morning.
I am not looking forward to sleeping in the tent. We slid a lot last night, although I probably got the most sleep out of everybody. I think my childhood tactic, I was able to sleep anywhere as a kid. I fell asleep anywhere, and it came true last night, so I got the most sleep. It's a beautiful area, but obviously just at any moment, somebody could just kick us out and tell us to go home, and there's nowhere to go.
Lugging everything you own around with you felt like a scarlet letter. It felt like a scarlet letter. Everybody's looking at you. You're homeless. You failed at the game. You screwed up. That's what it felt like. The actual having to carry things, I can deal with that. It was the stares of, or people just looking through you. It was this, and I just, my goodness, am I not even worth a hello? We would actually say hello to people just to see if they would say hello back. And it was like I was a ghost. It was an eye-opening experience to be invisible.
Some wouldn't look at you. You know they heard you. And I've used that before in a group. You're in a big group, and somebody comes up to the group and asks for something. Well, they're probably talking to somebody else in the group, and you kind of move along. And just to know how that feels from the other side of it, of to not even be acknowledged. I mean, I'm a human being. These people on the streets are human beings, and at least a look in the eye and a no, or a look in the eye preferably and a, well, no, but Star of Hope is right around the corner, and they can do a lot more for you than I can.
I can't imagine. As a mother, that's your first instinct, is to protect your children. I'm very protective. I'm like one of those helicopter moms. And so having my kids out in a situation where I just have no idea who is around me and what they could possibly do, I wouldn't be able to close my eyes. I would not. If I were a woman in this situation, the first thing I would do is try to get into a shelter. My first thought as a mother is, I've got to get out of this as quickly as possible. I cannot waste any time just for the safety of my children. I have to get out of this. And the only thing that seems to make sense and that is to get with the shelter, like the Star of Hope mission. Just get away, get to a neutral zone where you can think, where they have everything in place for you. You can put your children in school, you can have your babies in daycare, and you can go and just piece things back together the way that you need to.
It's quite a bit different once you actually get out there. Responding to a call that takes you 10, 15, 30 minutes, and then you get back in your vehicle and you're back in your own life, basically. It's quite different than spending life in their shoes. And after 3 days, you really understand what it's like to walk in their shoes.
I'll tell you this, I would have gone to Star of Hope if I was really in this situation, knowing that there's a bed, and you're either cool or you're warm, depending on the season. You got hot meals, and you got a situation where you could get out of this, hopefully down the road, the programs and the assistance.
For this to be your life every single day, I just, you want to run up to them and say, hey, go to the Star of Hope. We can fix all of this. you know, that's what you want to do. But, you know, ultimately you realize it's up to them. The choice is truly up to them.
Being homeless and asking for assistance it's got to be humiliating, because I was doing it as part of the experience, and I know that I don't need whatever I get, but I got nothing. I got absolutely nothing. And that's fine, because the recommendation is to not give people cash, but help them out with the actual need, or point them to Star of Hope. And it was maddening, though.
The next time I see a homeless person on the street, I'm going to look them in their eyes. I'm going to say hello. Hey, how you doing? Jesus loves you. Are you okay? Is there anything I can help you with? My goodness, the highlight of my day was just, wow, that person looked at me. They actually looked at us. Or if they didn't have change, instead of just, you know, ignoring you and walking off, they actually would, you know, tap a little bit and at least do that, at least pretend, you know, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I don't have anything. We had people that would just, I mean, it was like I had dirt all over my face and I was just the most horrible person in the world. And I'm just like, wow, I am just like you. I just am down on my luck today. But you can say hi to me. Just say hi to me. So next time I see a homeless person, that is the least I will do, is just, hello. Hello.
I'm so glad that you're back.
I'm back.
I'm glad that I got a giant hug.
You got a giant
After this,
hug.
I'm grateful for a shower.
We are back. I am back.
Yes.
After spending 2 days on the street, living in their shoes, experiencing what it was like to be homeless here in Houston.
It's been an eye-opening experience, and just so thankful to Star of Hope and Precinct 1 for helping us put all this together. We were just inspired to do something like this, and, you know, understanding to a degree of what homelessness is like.
Without hope, there is nothing. Without Star of Hope mission, a lot of these people have nothing. In your deepest, darkest hour, how important was hope to you?
It was everything. There was nothing else.
Scott says, do you ever listen in the morning? And Lane goes, oh yeah, that guy on there takes a beating from her. And I didn't say a word, but I thought, amen!
This is completely staged. It's not real. Takes a beating from her. Oh, man, I'll allow it because, well, you smell.
Yeah.
Welcome to the planet.
We've spent the last few minutes looking at the problem of Houston's homelessness. But the good news is there are solutions. And one of the most effective solutions is Star of Hope. I'd like you to meet the president and CEO of that organization, Hank Rush. Hank, Star of Hope has been around a long time.
It certainly has, JD. Founded in 1907, the Star of Hope has served continuously the homeless of our city for 111 years now. Can you imagine that?
Amazing. Tell me about your men's center downtown and the Love in Action van.
Absolutely, absolutely. The Men's Center downtown is our original ministry that was founded in 1907. It's moved to several different locations. Today, it's on Ruiz Street, a few blocks north of Minute Maid Park, and it serves about 4,000 homeless men every year. And many of those men are street homeless men who come in off the streets. Our Love in Action van is out there every day, talking to them, taking them water bottles, providing needs that they have, and befriending them and working with them to get them to come in and get some help and to start a new life. And that's what Star of Hope's all about.
As we're finding out, the homeless aren't all men. There are so many women and children out there, and the Star of Hope has recently unveiled a brand new facility that addresses that problem.
Absolutely. The name of that property is Cornerstone Community, and it is located on Reed Road just south of the NRG Stadium. It serves about 3,000 to 4,000 homeless women and children every year. And it's a comprehensive solution for those young families where they come in emergency needs and they're fleeing abuse or lots of other tragic, difficult circumstances. They come in, they're assigned a case manager. We work through their problems. We help them with educational opportunities offered right on the campus. And as they move through our programs, then they become job ready again, and they can secure housing on the campus, permanent supportive housing, and have a life on their own with supportive services wrapped around them for the long term. So our whole goal is to end homelessness, literally one family, one life, one family at a time.
Thank you for all you do.
Sir.
Thank you for all you do. And thanks to KSBJ, Joe Paulo and Suzanne Bose Honeycup for helping us put the Houston homeless problem and solutions into perspective. We hope this program has changed how you feel about the homeless and how you will respond next time you see them. Even if you can't help at that moment, at least look them in the eye and wish them well. For more information about how to help the homeless and about the Star of Hope, please go to sohmission.org. For more information about KSBJ's ministry, visit ksbj.org. Thank you for joining us this evening and have a very Merry Christmas.